My mother died when I was very young, but before she passed away, she enrolled my brother and I into the botanical garden, had a gardening program. And so while we wanted to play Little League, my mother enrolled us in this program. We had a little plot of land in the botanical gardens in Brooklyn, and every Saturday we started planting. When we purchased a house in upstate New York, my mother was very much into gardening, and all of us had to take turns tilling the soil, planting the seeds, taking care of the garden. And so for me, maybe because my mother passed on, that those memories are very important to me, but I did enjoy putting my hands in the dirt, feeling what the dirt feels like and crumbling it to know that that's the earth, that it just really provided a memory that really lasted me my entire life. When I owned a house and I had to start not planting vegetables, but flowers, all those memories start rushing back as I start going through the same, processes of making sure you're digging right and that everything is leveled off properly, but just the smell of the dirt. There's a certain smell to it if you get nice, healthy dirt, particularly in the Northeast, that it just brings back these memories.
I think one of my joys in terms of gardening is just the sheer grunt labor of it. I love the labor, and I think that came from a sort of this athletic background. I love to haul manure or dig the garden or do these really menial, weed the garden. I love weeding. So I love menial, hard physical labor that I'm not sure is easy to communicate to young people. The joys of filling up a truckload of manure from the stables. Could be a little bit of a hard sale unless you just enjoy being outside and the physicality of moving in the world around you.
When I gardened, what's been amazing though is in the process of creating a garden, how transformational the garden has been, not only to me, but just kind of for the neighborhood. And becoming a place, I go out and garden almost on a daily basis, but, that becomes a point of connection with neighbors all the time. It becomes kind of a way for neighbors sometimes I have a hard time talking to who can come up and comment on the tulips that are up now or, can say something about what's going on or ask a question.
Now, I think we should make a distinction here, which is really interesting, between wilderness and garden. I think that's one of the crucial distinctions that needs to be made when anybody is thinking about gardens. And it's almost a distinction between the great body of language and poetry. There's so much language out there. We live in a chaotic linguistic universe, even more so now that we have the internet, and words are everywhere. The problem is they're not shaped words, they're often not peaceful words, and they're not words conducive to deep philosophical reflection or words that are going to contribute to human sanity. Because words that contribute to human sanity need a bit of space around them, they need some shaping, they need some rhythm, just as a garden has to have a rhythm. And I think they're obviously related in some way, because wilderness is the kind of raw palette out of which gardens are made. And so I think early on human beings would look at a vista, look at a mountain in the distance, look at a field that was a bare field, look at, say, a beech wood, and say, wow, this is gorgeous. Nature is its own kind of gardener.
My most memorable experiences at Monticello were really through the dealing with natural disasters. Blizzards. I was in charge of snow removal, tornadoes, hurricanes, big droughts where we couldn't water things. The crises were the things that, for some reason, will linger in my mind as the sweetest memories of Monticello.
We're dealing with coyotes today. That's the New York fascination. They're all over the place.
Really?
They just found one in Queens. On the weekend, they found one in Barry Park City. We found several. This is probably the 6th coyote. Don't know if it's the same one. I don't know if they put something around its neck, but yes, a lot of coyotes.
They live in the park and then...
No, they come from north, Westchester County, then they migrate. Then Cortlandt Park in the Bronx, and now they're migrating south.
Oh.
Yes.
So, we can't keep nature out of
No,
the city.
we're in their territory.
What's nature feel like?
Electricity.
Explain what you were saying before about with your hands in the dirt. What were you talking about?
I was thinking I'm a lucky guy because I know where I get my strength. I get my strength from touching the soil. That's what makes me David. That's what I like most of anything, is being one with nature.
I garden because I feel it makes me a better person. Every day that I'm out here, and it changes, that I feel it makes me have a better relationship with my family, my people around me. I think it gives me a better understanding of the world. I garden because I really think it gives me a sense of place in the world. It really does. That I'm comfortable with. This is where I feel comfortable. It really has given me that sense of who I am, my place in the world, and my relationship to other human beings. But over time, it has led me more and more closer to a human endeavor. And that's why I garden. That's why I'll continue to garden. And I think in a lot of ways, that's why I want to make this film.